Hello and welcome. If you're here, it's because you felt the weight of life's injustices, perhaps the sting of rejection or the relentless accusations that make you question your purpose. But let me tell you, you're not here by accident. Did you know that one of the greatest promises Jesus made was an invitation to rest? He said, "Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest." This isn't just about physical relief. It's a divine exchange where your heaviest burdens can be replaced with peace, strength, and even prosperity. There's a reason you feel like you're in the middle of a battle. The enemy wants to keep you from realizing the fullness of God's plans for your life. But here's the good news. No matter how heavy the load, no matter how deep the wound, there is a path to victory. And today, we're going to uncover how to take it. Life's struggles can sometimes feel unbearable, like carrying a weight far too heavy for your shoulders. The rejection, the injustice, the constant pressure to keep going can leave you feeling defeated. But there is a promise that cuts through all this pain. Jesus is ready to carry your burdens and give you supernatural rest. This isn't just a comforting idea. It's a divine truth that has the power to transform your life. When Jesus says, "Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest," he's extending a personal invitation. This is not about a momentary break from the pain. It's about a lasting, deep peace that goes beyond your circumstances. He is offering to take the weight that's crushing you, the heartbreak, the disappointments, the relentless anxieties, and replace them with strength and serenity. The beauty of this promise is that it's unconditional. You don't need to have everything figured out, and you don't need to be perfect. Jesus meets you exactly where you are, in the middle of your exhaustion and frustration, and says, "Let me take this from you." When you trust him with your burdens, you are stepping into a partnership where his strength becomes your strength. This act of surrender is not weakness, it's an act of faith. Many of us try to push through our struggles on our own, thinking that enduring the weight makes us stronger. But true strength comes from letting go and allowing Jesus to work in your life. He doesn't just carry your burdens, he transforms them, turning your pain into peace and your struggles into stepping stones for a greater purpose. Picture this: the peace of waking up free from the guilt, anxiety, and frustration that have weighed you down for so long. That's what Jesus is offering. It's a supernatural rest that doesn't depend on how hard you've tried, but on how much you trust. The rest he gives is not the absence of challenges, but the assurance that you are never alone in facing them. If Jesus takes your burdens, what happens to those who've caused your pain? In the next section, we'll uncover how God's justice ensures that no wrongdoing goes unnoticed. Stay with me, because the story doesn't end here. The enemy will be defeated. God's justice will prevail in your life. In a world where injustice often seems to thrive, it's easy to wonder if the wrongs done to you will ever be made right. Rejection, humiliation, and betrayal can feel like permanent scars on your heart. God's justice is not slow, nor is it absent. The very pain you've endured is part of a greater plan to reveal his power and restore balance in your life. When God says, "Vengeance is mine, I will repay," he's making a promise, not just to you, but to every force or person that has stood against you. This is not about revenge, it's about divine justice. The enemy, the source of accusations, oppression, and destruction, will not have the final word in your life. God sees everything, and his justice works in ways that are both powerful and undeniable. You might feel like you've been waiting forever for vindication, watching those who've hurt you walk away without consequences. But God's timing is perfect. He knows when to act, and he knows how to turn every injustice into a stage for his glory. Think of every time you were misunderstood, overlooked, or rejected. Each moment is an opportunity for God to show that his plans for you are unshakable. Justice in God's hands doesn't just mean punishment for those who've wronged you. It also means restoration for you. He restores your confidence, your joy, and your sense of purpose. While the world may try to label you as broken or defeated, God's justice declares that you are chosen, loved, and destined for something far greater than what the enemy could ever take from you. Imagine the tables turning, the moments of shame replaced with honor, the pain exchanged for triumph. This is the justice of God. It's not about clinging to bitterness or waiting for others to fail. It's about trusting that the one who created you will always fight for you. His justice is both personal and powerful, and it guarantees that no act of wrongdoing against you will go unanswered. God's justice is powerful, but his love is just as personal. In the next section, we'll explore how he sees your heart, your struggles, and your every tear. Because you are never alone in this fight. You are not alone. God sees your struggles and understands your heart. Loneliness is one of the deepest pains anyone can endure. It's not just about being physically alone. It's the feeling that no one truly understands your struggles or sees the battles you face every day. But let me remind you of something powerful. God sees it all. Every tear, every silent prayer, and every unspoken word is known to him. When you feel like no one around you gets what you're going through, God does. He's not distant or disconnected from your pain. On the contrary, he is intimately aware of your struggles and stands with you in every storm. The world may have dismissed or underestimated you, but the Creator of the universe calls you his own. You are not forgotten, and your story is not overlooked. Sometimes it feels like the silence is deafening, as if your prayers are bouncing off the walls, unheard and unanswered. But just because you don't see immediate results doesn't mean God isn't moving. He's working behind the scenes, preparing you for something greater. The loneliness you feel is not a punishment. It's a season of preparation. Even when you feel abandoned, he's right there, shaping you, strengthening you, and setting you apart for his divine purpose. Think of it this way: diamonds are formed under pressure, and gold is refined by fire. In the same way, the struggles you're enduring are refining you. God sees your potential, your strength, and the beauty within you, even when you can't see it yourself. And he's not just watching passively. He's walking alongside you, ensuring you don't have to face these challenges alone. You are part of something bigger than yourself. The rejection you face doesn't define you. It's merely a stepping stone toward the purpose God has for your life. He is your constant companion, your greatest advocate, and your unshakable foundation. And when you feel like you're falling apart, he is the one holding you together. If God sees your heart and walks with you through the fire, then what's next? Let's uncover how he takes the struggles you've endured and turns them into the building blocks of prosperity. The best is yet to come. The turning point is here. How Jesus transforms suffering into prosperity. The pain you've endured may feel overwhelming, but it's not the end of your story. Every tear you've shed and every battle you've fought is being repurposed by God for something greater. What you see as setbacks, he sees as setups for your breakthrough. The turning point isn't just coming, it's already in motion. When you place your struggles in Jesus' hands, you're not surrendering to defeat. You're aligning yourself with victory. He doesn't waste a single moment of your suffering. Instead, he uses every challenge to build you up, to teach you resilience, and to prepare you for a future that's overflowing with prosperity. This is not prosperity based on material wealth alone, but a richness of spirit, peace, and purpose that no one can take away from you. The very things that were meant to break you are being transformed into blessings. The humiliation you faced? It's becoming your testimony of triumph. The rejection you endured, it's positioning you for connections and opportunities far greater than you could imagine. This is what Jesus does. He takes the ashes of our pain and turns them into something beautiful. God's plan for your life doesn't end with survival. It leads to abundance. He doesn't just want you to make it through the storm. He wants you to thrive on the other side. That's why the seasons of suffering feel so intense. They're breaking old chains and clearing the path for something new. Prosperity isn't an accident. It's the result of trusting God even when you can't see the outcome. This transformation isn't instant, but it's certain. Step by step, as you lean on Jesus and trust His process, you'll see your life shift. The weight you once carried will be replaced with strength. The doors that were slammed in your face will be replaced with opportunities. And the inner peace you've been longing for will flow freely as you embrace the future He has prepared for you. Your past doesn't define you. God's promises do. The turning point is here, and it starts with your decision to trust that His plans for you are greater than any pain you've endured. Now that you see how God turns suffering into prosperity, how do you fully embrace this victory? In the next section, we'll explore how resting in Jesus becomes your most powerful weapon. Stay tuned, because your story is only getting started. The path to victory, resting in Jesus as your greatest weapon. Victory doesn't always look like the world imagines it. It's not about shouting triumphantly from the mountaintop while everything suddenly falls into place. Real victory begins in the quiet, in the moments when you choose to rest in Jesus instead of fighting battles in your own strength. Rest isn't a retreat, it's a position of power, a declaration that you trust God to fight for you and lead you to His promises. When you rest in Jesus, you're not giving up, you're giving Him control. You're saying, Lord, I believe your plans for me are greater than anything I could ever accomplish on my own. This kind of rest isn't passive, it's an act of faith. It means stepping back from the chaos of trying to fix everything yourself and letting God handle the pieces you can't. When you're exhausted from carrying burdens you were never meant to bear, how can you truly experience God's abundance? Resting in Jesus is your spiritual reset button. It allows Him to restore your energy, renew your mind, and prepare your heart for the blessings He's bringing your way. Without rest, it's easy to miss the opportunities and breakthroughs He's placing in your path. Rest doesn't mean the challenges disappear. It means you approach them with a renewed spirit, knowing that God is on your side. When the enemy whispers doubts or tries to pull you into fear, resting in Jesus is your shield. It's the assurance that no matter what comes, you are protected, guided, and destined for victory. Imagine a warrior who finds their strength not in constant battle, but in the wisdom to pause, refocus, and strategize. That's what resting in Jesus does for you. It equips you with clarity and courage to face your struggles, not as a victim, but as someone who is already victorious through Christ. Victory is not about how hard you fight, it's about who fights for you. And when Jesus is your defender, nothing can stand against you. Resting in Him isn't weakness, it's the ultimate weapon against every obstacle, fear, and lie that tries to hold you back. Resting in Jesus gives you strength, but what about the promises He's prepared for you? Let's uncover how God's plan for your life is filled with justice, peace, and abundance. God's promise for you: rest, justice, and spiritual abundance. God's promises for your life are unwavering. They aren't affected by circumstances, the opinions of others, or the struggles you've faced. His plan for you is filled with rest for your soul, justice for the wrongs you've endured, and a spiritual abundance that overflows into every area of your life. The question is, will you step into those promises? Rest isn't just about recovering from life's battles. It's about standing in the assurance that God is working everything together for your good. He knows the weight you've carried, and His promise is to not only lighten the load, but to replace it with His peace. This rest doesn't come from the absence of challenges. It comes from knowing that your future is secure in His hands. Justice is another cornerstone of God's promise. Every injustice, rejection, or betrayal you faced hasn't gone unnoticed. God's justice isn't about revenge. It's about restoring what was stolen from you, repairing what was broken, and setting things right. The enemy doesn't get the last word in your story. God does. And His word declares victory, restoration, and vindication for His chosen ones. Spiritual abundance is the final piece of this promise. It's more than material wealth. It's a fullness of joy, peace, and purpose that surpasses anything the world can offer. When you rest in Jesus and trust in God's justice, you position yourself to receive this abundance. It's a life marked by freedom from fear, clarity of purpose, and the confidence that God is leading you into something greater than you ever imagined. The beauty of God's promises is that they don't require perfection from you, just faith. You don't have to earn them, and you don't have to prove you're worthy. You simply have to believe that what He's spoken over your life is true. When you trust in His timing and align yourself with His will, the blessings He has for you will begin to unfold. Picture this: a life where rest replaces exhaustion, justice overcomes pain, and abundance fills the empty places in your heart. This is what God has for you. It's not just a possibility, it's His promise, and He is faithful to fulfill it. Now that you've seen the fullness of God's promises, rest, justice, and abundance, remember that they're already within your reach. It's time to embrace them, live in them, and let your life be a testimony of His goodness. Your journey of transformation has just begun. Every struggle you've faced, every burden you've carried, has been shaping you for a greater purpose. Trust in Him, surrender your worries, and watch how He transforms your story into a testimony of victory. If this message spoke to your heart today, don't keep it to yourself. Subscribe to this channel and give this video a like so we can continue sharing messages of hope, encouragement, and God's amazing love. When you subscribe, you're joining a community of people who, like you, are seeking strength, peace, and divine purpose. Remember, you are never alone in this journey. God is with you every step of the way, guiding you, strengthening you, and preparing you for greater things. Thank you for spending this time with me. It's been an honor to walk through these truths together. Stay strong, stay faithful, and remember, the best is yet to come. See you in the next video.